So today on Mantras of the Moment, I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce our next guest, Geinor Styles, Artistic Director of Theatre na Nog, a friend and someone who I've really enjoyed working with personally. How are you? It's lovely to see you.
I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about the mantra that's pulling you through these really extraordinary times. Let me ask you by starting off by saying, how are you coping with it? Obviously, the theatre world, the arts world has been hit really hard. What's been going on your end?
Well, I'm extremely lucky because we work for a theatre company that is funded by the Arts Council of Wales. So we have been continued, we've had funding. So in that respect, it's been, I'm so grateful for the work that I've been able to do. Yeah, it's been, there's no doubt it's sort of decimized the sort of industry really. But last year when it hit, we were in a situation where I felt, even before the pandemic, that I felt that um, I needed artistic people around me really, just to get those sort of, just to bounce ideas off and things like that. And sometimes it'd be quite isolating as a director. So we set up this sort of associates really, and it was about 12 of them got together and we were just saying, well, where do we take our Nog now? What's the next step for us? And that was brilliant. And then as soon as the pandemic hit, it was just really, I was like, oh my God, they're freelance. They have nothing. There was nothing, and that was really shocking for me because theatre doesn't exist without the freelancers, without these artists. And so it was very, very quickly, I said, right, we basically start doing little projects online, just adapting straight away, really, and doing things that we might have thought, oh, wouldn't it be great to do a radio show of this? Or wouldn't it be great, never think of doing it because you're just on this sort of treadmill of creating all the time. But we had time to sort of go, no, hang on, let's try these things. So, I got to say, I had a ball last year.
Oh, well, that's so amazing to hear that because I've been interviewing people week to week and no one has yet said they've had an absolute ball. I mean, they've said that there's been moments of clarity and there's been moments of real sort of insight and reflection and all these great things that I think this extraordinary time in our lives has given to each and every one of us in our own individual way. But, I haven't heard anyone yet say that they had a ball. So it was a joyous moment then for you.
It was fantastic because you just realised how much talent there is in Wales. Like that was just tremendous. And how people were like, just so eager to create, to do work and to be funny. That was one of the big things was like, oh, let's just have a laugh. Let's just enjoy ourselves, and I think that was very much what we tried to do all year. Normally we would do about 2 or 3 shows in a year. And we ended up doing like 18 different projects with working with like about 150 freelancers. It was just tremendous. It was exhausting. But one of the things I remember very early on, and it was WHO. There was a Dr. Michael Ryan. He's an Irish doctor, scientist, and he was part of the pandemic team for the World Health Organization. He said, speed trumps perfection. And that thing with being an artist, you're striving for the perfect piece of theatre, it doesn't exist. No. And if you try for that, you will procrastinate and not achieve anything. So it was very much about, no, these people need work, let's do it. Let's not worry too much about, is that the best online Aesop's fable ever? Well, I don't care if it is. The fact is that children and schools would enjoy it. Yeah, let's get that work out there. So it was all about that. And to sort of give me a sense of freedom, really.
This is amazing. So you basically, thank God the funding came through. And, the Arts Council of Wales have delivered and, that's a real blessing because, as we know, the arts industry and the hospitality industry has been hit so hard. And to think that we'd never go into a theatre again, or it'd be a long time before we go to a gig, music or festival or etc., is heartbreaking. But you've got to literally make the lemonade out of the lemons and, run with what you've got. So with that funding then, did you just keep the team in the office going on Zoom every day and just adapt and you meet daily like that? Have you managed to do that or are they furloughed? How's it worked?
No, we've all been employed throughout it. And we've yeah, we've created new work. We're developing new ideas for film, for interactive theatre. So things we would we would never think of doing. Excuse me. We would never think of doing. We said, no, let's try it. Let's try these things. Let's be bold.
Yeah.
And I think that's what carried us through, really. You know, people were just like feeding off one another, going, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's move with that. You know, and delegating. Like I'm very much, oh well, I'll do this. I'm taking control, perhaps. You know, and I was a little bit more brave, I suppose, to say, no, do you know what? Do you want to take that project? You take it. You do that now. You know, and I loved, and they were coming back with amazing pieces of work. So it was just, you know, I know I'm very, very lucky. You know, I completely understand that I'm publicly funded, but that's what held us through, really.
Sorry, I was just saying it's so encouraging to actually speak to someone within the arts industry who has survived, is surviving, and is thriving, because I know, having known you, that you're speaking truthfully and with sincerity. And I also know, because you've shared with me what your mantra was. And that's been this sort of flavour of these interviews, is what is the mantra that's pulled you through these extraordinary times? So would you mind sharing yours?
Yeah, my mantra throughout this has been authenticity, and that has come from having that time when it all hit, and you're thinking, right, what is it that I love about my job? What is it? But it's more than a job, you see. It's like an absolute purpose. So for me, being almost going back to the core of why I've always loved theatre, performing. I don't perform, but I love telling stories, and I was brought up on that, you know. So it was really going back to that, and I sort of see it, you know. I think it's probably where I've been brought up in Merth Tydfil. You know, my mother is very a workaholic, I would say. Do you know what I mean? Even though she worked in the factory, but it's like it was important to her and important to my dad as well. So that is in my core, and I sort of see that as my superpower. Yeah. So that authenticity is to just sort of like, you know, be true to yourself. You know, you want to create this work, and the reason why you want to create theatre is you want everybody to share in that experience. So how can I do that? And how can I keep these people who have got amazing talent employed and thriving, really? It's not my money, it's taxpayers' money, isn't it? But that's how, you know, that's what I do. I look after that and give it out, really.
I absolutely love that. I think that is knowing this world, and, you know, again, knowing how you work, and knowing, having worked with you, that level of authenticity is so important, because we are in an industry that wears veneers, and people have agendas, and we have to play a game. The theatre world and the acting life is that you have to, you know, you have to navigate a path where you push and you strive, and you have to win and maneuver and manipulate, etc. And just to stay true to yourself on that path, and thinking, you know, that sense of integrity is so important, and more so now than ever, because transparency is the buzzword, thank God, of the moment. You know, just saying, I've got to be me. If I'm on this journey, I've got to be the meest me I can be, you know?
Yeah.
So I love that. Just one simple word to keep at the root and the heart of your day-to-day life and your day-to-day business.
Yeah, and I think it's, you know, it's been a long time coming as well. You know, you feel as if you need to be striving for this success, whatever that means, or that commerciality, whatever it is. But in the truth of it is telling a good story and sharing that. That's basically it, really, you know.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. So tell me, my last question to you, Geinor, is when it is all over, when we're done with lockdown 610, what do you want to do first?
There's so many things, really. I'd love to go out for a meal. A really good Italian would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, you know, on weekends are very busy for us as a family. My boys play football, they play rugby, so Saturday and Sundays are like sports, you know, and then you get back around 2 o'clock, you have dinner or whatever, and you're just absolutely shattered, and then you got to get ready for your work. We haven't been able to do that. And, you know, I remember times saying, oh, wouldn't it be nice if they didn't have football this week, or the rugby game was called off, or whatever, you know. But, you know, I I love that camaraderie, that spirit of teamwork that those boys had, going down to watch them play down the rugby club.
Lovely.
Completely mud all over, freezing cold watching them, but they have participated in something, and they've earned that, that competitive spirit as well. I love that in the boys. So I think it would be that would be my thing.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure they'll be back on the pitch soon, and bless them. I know they're both teenagers, and I know that they've, like every child out there, have had to really dig deep in these times. So good luck to them both. I have loved seeing you and chatting to you. Thank you for agreeing to come on and for sharing mantra, authenticity, which is just you, and that's what I believe in too. So thank you, my love, and stay safe and well, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side of it all.
Lovely. Thank you, Debs.
Pleasure. Bye.
Bye.